They say a penny saved is a penny earned. But who are they exactly? Rather than saving, we believe in investing, in ideas, in people, and most importantly, the future. At Apotex, we've dedicated over $2.1 billion to research and development over the next 10 years, which means that we'll continue to meet the needs of patients for a long time to come. To ensure a brighter tomorrow, you need to start planning today. Because we believe the health of the future is measured in more than dollars and cents. It's just one reason we're truly Canadian.
Toronto police are saying very little about what they found inside the mansion of pharmaceutical billionaire Barry Sherman and his wife Honey. They left it to officials at the company Sherman founded 50 years ago, Apotex Pharmaceuticals, to announce the Shermans' sudden death. All police will say is that they are treating the deaths as suspicious.
It means that we're investigating it to determine if there's foul play involved or not. And at this point, we cannot with 100% certainty say that there is or is not.
The Shermans' house on this street of sprawling multi-million-dollar mansions has a for sale sign out front. It's listed at just under $7 million. Their neighbors, who declined to do on-camera interviews, say the Shermans were friendly and social. One neighbor who was home throughout the day said he didn't hear or see anything at the Shermans' house until police arrived. Police say that was after someone inside the house called 911.
At 11:44 this morning, Toronto Police responded to a call. It was a medical complaint, and we had fire and ambulance attend as well. We've discovered 2 bodies of people inside a home here in the Bayview Avenue and Colony Road area.
Police say the coroner will do a post-mortem on the bodies tomorrow to try to determine the precise circumstances of their deaths. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, as good as the Shermans were at making money, they were just as adept at giving it away, gifting millions and millions to charities. But as Renee Filipponi explains, they also weren't strangers to controversy.
Strong-willed, outspoken, and incredibly entrepreneurial. That's how Barry Sherman is being remembered tonight.
Can a drug company say to you, if you want this tablet, give me everything you've got? Give me all your money?
He started Apotex in 1974 after buying out his uncle's smaller company. It grew to become the largest producer of generic drugs in Canada.
He was the bane of the existence of the branded drug companies in Canada. He was not their favorite person, but he was respected, I think. I respected him.
And he demanded that respect, something former Ontario Premier Bob Rae knew all too well.
He didn't hesitate to let you know when he was happy, when he wasn't happy. And I suspect everybody who's been involved in healthcare across the country will be able to identify with that.
And that attitude led him right into the center of controversy, constantly battling with Big Pharma.
They had sought to stop us from selling it. They failed in that.
There was a family dispute, too. Sherman ended up in a bitter court battle with his cousins, who claimed they were owed a stake in Apotex. And his involvement in politics created a stir. In 2015, an investigation was launched over questionable lobbying at a fundraiser he held for the Liberal Party. Along with being a shrewd businessman, Barry and Honey were also generous, giving tens of millions of dollars to hospitals, universities, and Jewish organizations.
Their success, they were extremely successful in business. but also very, very giving people. And I think it's going to be a big, big loss. And the Canadian business community has lost a truly remarkable individual.
A shock to many today as they reflect on the life of a man who not only shook up the drug industry, but also gave back to his community. Renee Filipponi, CBC News,
McLean
Toronto.
has uncovered a lawsuit involving Apotex, filed just months before the murder of billionaire Barry Sherman, the founder of the generic drug giant. It alleges a longtime chemist went rogue and got caught with trade secrets the company deemed of enormous value. And McLean senior writer Ann Kingston joins us now. And what is the company alleging the chemist was actually doing with all this intellectual property that he allegedly obtained?
Allegedly, yes. So back in January, Apotex was tipped off that a veteran chemist who had worked at Apotex for over a decade had been siphoning trade secrets via USB ports off of proprietary Apotex computers. So they were alleging that trade secrets equaling, millions, some 300 millions of dollars were being siphoned off, and this fellow was planning to set up, and had in fact set up, a rival pharmaceutical company in his native Pakistan. So those were the charges. He was fired summarily in January. The lawsuit was filed, and it's been going on ever since.
And Apotex went after him hard because they even asked a judge to put him in jail until he got all the info.
That's right. They felt that he was in contempt of court, and this is typical of Apotex. You have to remember that this is one of the most litigious companies, if not the most litigious company in Canada. It has spent, founded in 1974 by Barry Sherman. It has been in court countless times, suing brand name companies, generic companies, and this stuff is important because you're talking about its livelihood. If in fact, these charges assume that this information could have hurt the company.
Now, the lawyer for the former employee vigorously denies the allegation. So what's his version of events? How did he get this information, or what are they saying?
Well, it is the lawyer, and the court filings suggest that, yes, there was another company, Trillium, by the name of Trillium, that was founded by this chemist, but it was in the business of merchandising clothing or something like that. So there's a number of issues that need to be ironed out in court, but basically they're saying he absolutely denies that he did anything, and that there was something about his children's homework. The USB ports were used for that purpose. So dueling narratives, to put it mildly.
Now, the timing of this, right? This lawsuit was launched months before the murder. Is this gentleman being investigated at all in relation to the homicides?
Our understanding, we didn't get a definitive answer on that from Toronto Police. There's absolutely no reason to think that these two cases are in any way associated. But what it speaks to, first of all, it offers a rare glimpse into this private company, the way it operated, and also, just is one of many lawsuits that Apotex was involved in. As you probably know, later in the year, Apotex itself became embroiled in a lawsuit with its president. Espionage, in which he was allegedly had an affair with a rival company, the biggest generic company in the world, and that case is now ongoing. He is no longer with the company, but the case is ongoing.
Right, and the day that it was announced that he was released, or that he left the company, was the same day that police revealed that yes, they were actually murdered. So there was a lot of speculation about why the CEO stepped down.
That's right, and it speaks to just the high-stakes competitive world that Barry Sherman was part of. His business interests were vast, but simply within the pharmaceutical industry, it was, cutthroat and litigious and razor-thin margins and very, very competitive. And he was one of the most aggressive, if not the most aggressive player within this landscape.
And when you talk about the insight into this company, I mean, some of the numbers about how much they spend on research and development for drugs.
You see, Apotex is famously private. So what this lawsuit, for instance, they revealed that these drugs were worth $300 million and that they spend $120 million a year simply on new product development and honing systems and whatnot. So this offers sort of a glance at just how expensive, running these companies can be, and just how much money is at stake.
Wow, okay. Well, you can read the full article that Anne has written with Michael Friscalante. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's at macleans.ca.
Billionaire pharmaceutical giant Barry Sherman founded Apotex, a pharmaceutical company that manufactured affordable, generic versions of popular and profitable medicine. Sherman made it his business to smash the pharmaceutical cartels by punching holes in their patent protection and wriggling through intellectual property rights to allow him to bring generic versions of popular and profitable medicine to the market. Barry and his wife Honey were one of Canada's richest couples. Barry's story of building a huge pharmaceutical empire was compelling, and his fiercely litigious pit bull style of business became legendary, and the couple's generous philanthropy made them enormously influential and well-loved. Sherman's Apotex supplied generic drugs to the Clinton Foundation's relief efforts in Haiti and Rwanda. Apotex also donated medicines and supplies to the Clinton Foundation Puerto Rico relief efforts in 2017. Barry and Honey Sherman were last seen alive on the evening of December 13, 2017. 2 days later, their bodies were found in their Toronto mansion. After weeks of investigative research, Toronto police recently revealed the couple were targeted victims. After the announcement, the Sherman family said that they weren't surprised by the police conclusion. Barry Sherman knew that he had enemies and nearly 20 years ago wondered aloud why he was still alive. They hate us. They have private investigators on us all the time trying to investigate. The thought once came to me, why didn't they just hire someone? Perhaps I'm surprised that hasn't happened. Barry Sherman told American author Jeffrey Robinson during an interview in 2000. The shadowy they Sherman spoke of were those profiting handsomely from the huge international brand name pharmaceutical industry.